Have you ever picked up your phone for one quick thing and somehow ended up scrolling for 45 minutes without even realizing it? Or you sat down to focus on something important, only to suddenly feel the urge to check your notifications, open another tab, respond to messages, or look at something completely unrelated? Well, that's not simply a lack of discipline. Modern technology is designed to compete for your attention. And today we're talking about why your mind feels so scattered, overstimulated, and mentally exhausted, and how to reclaim your focus in a world constantly trying to hijack it. Welcome to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, where we explore the keys to unlocking your full potential and living your best life. I'm your host, Jose Johnson. Whether you're looking to make a breakthrough, overcome a challenge, or simply live with greater clarity, joy, and purpose, you'll find the tools and inspirations you need right here. So let's start your journey towards personal mastery and growth right now. Welcome back to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, your go-to resource for practical tips, insightful research, and inspiring stories to help you unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Jose Johnson, and I'm an expert in the fields of mindfulness, mindset, and peak performance, and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Now, over the past few episodes, we've been exploring emotional suffering, cognitive biases, internal narratives, emotional environments, and communication patterns. And today we're shifting towards something affecting nearly everyone in modern life: the battle for your attention. Because attention is one of the most valuable psychological resources that you possess. Your attention shapes what you notice, what you think about, how you feel, what you remember, what influences you, and ultimately, how you experience life itself. And honestly, modern systems are constantly competing for that attention. Social media platforms, advertisements, notifications, algorithms, news cycles, streaming platforms, all fighting to keep your brain engaged for as long as possible. The result is that many people now feel mentally scattered, emotionally overstimulated, chronically distracted, and psychologically exhausted. So, today we're going to explore why modern life overloads the brain, how technology hijacks attention, what constant stimulation does to the nervous system, and practical ways to reclaim your focus, clarity, and presence. Let's dive in. Now, one of the most important things people can understand is this: attention is not just focus, attention is psychological energy. What consistently captures your attention shapes your emotions, your mindset, your stress levels, your beliefs, your behavior, and even over time, your identity. See, in many ways, your life is heavily influenced by whatever consistently captures your attention. And that's a powerful realization because most people think of attention casually. But attention determines what enters our conscious awareness, what the brain prioritizes, and what emotional states become reinforced. If your attention constantly goes towards outrage, fear, conflict, comparison, negativity, and overstimulation, well, your nervous system eventually starts adapting to those environments. And honestly, many people today are psychologically exhausted, not because they're weak, but because their attention is being pulled in too many directions simultaneously. Modern life has created an environment of constant mental interruptions, and the brain pays a price for that fragmentation. The human brain evolved in environments that were dramatically slower and quieter than modern life. Our ancestors did not wake up to push notifications, breaking news, emails, group texts, social media feeds, and 24-hour streams of emotionally stimulating content. Sure, the brain loves novelty because novelty can signal opportunity or danger. So, dopamine systems become activated by new information, unpredictability, rewards, and stimulation. And honestly, technology exploits this brilliantly. Every bell, every swipe, every refresh, every like, every message, every new video. It creates a burst of anticipation and stimulation. Now, dopamine itself is not bad. The problem is overstimulation because the brain was never designed to process this level of constant novelty continuously. And over time, chronic stimulation creates mental fatigue, reduced focus, impatience, impulsivity, and attention fragmentation. The brain starts craving constant stimulation while simultaneously becoming exhausted by it, which is a pretty strange combination when you think about it. Modern humans can watch 3 videos, answer texts, scroll social media, and microwave leftovers at the same time, and still somehow feel understimulated emotionally. That's how conditioned many brains have become to constant input. And unfortunately, fragmented attention often creates fragmented presence. All right, so let's go a little bit deeper because social media platforms are not designed primarily to protect your peace, they're designed to hold your attention. That's their business model. The longer you stay engaged, the more ads you see, the more data gets collected, and the more profitable the platform becomes, which means algorithms are constantly learning what emotionally hooks you, what keeps you scrolling, what triggers reactions, and what captures attention most effectively. And emotionally charged content tends to perform extremely well. Outrage, fear, conflict, comparison, drama, those things trigger emotional activation. And emotional activation keeps people engaged longer. Now, this is one reason doom scrolling becomes so easy. The brain keeps searching for resolution, for certainty, for stimulation, or for emotional completion. But most digital environments are intentionally designed to prevent completion. There's always another video, another post, another headline, another notification, another emotional trigger. And honestly, some people now check their phone so often that if the phone stays silent for too long, well, we start emotionally checking on it to make sure that it's okay. Now, again, technology itself is not evil, but unconscious consumption, well, that creates problems because repeated exposure shapes our attention patterns, and our attention patterns shape our mental habits. Now, one of the hidden costs of overstimulation is the loss of presence. Many people are physically present, but psychologically elsewhere. They're half listening while they're half scrolling, half thinking, half reacting, half distracted. And over time, constant distraction weakens our ability to enter deep focus, creativity, reflection, emotional awareness, and meaningful connection. Now, this is one reason why many people struggle to slow down mentally. The nervous system becomes conditioned to constant input. Silence starts feeling uncomfortable. Stillness feels unfamiliar. And uninterrupted focus becomes harder to sustain. Every moment, even moments of boredom, which historically help fuel creativity, reflection, and insight, are now immediately interrupted by stimulation. The moment discomfort appears, many people instinctively reach for the phone, the app, the distraction, or the dopamine hit. But constantly escaping silence also means constantly escaping self awareness. And honestly, some of the most important insights in life emerge during the quiet moments, not during endless scrolling. All right, so let's make this practical. If modern life is constantly competing for your attention, then reclaiming attention requires intentionality. One of the first steps is becoming aware of where your attention is actually going, because many people believe they are choosing their focus consciously, when in reality, their attention is being directed reactively. This is why attention audits can be incredibly powerful. So ask yourself, what consistently captures my attention? What drains my mental energy? What environments increase anxiety or distraction? What inputs leave me feeling calmer, clearer, or more grounded? Awareness changes everything. Another powerful strategy is reducing unnecessary input. Not every notification deserves immediate access to your nervous system. And honestly, many people are living with constant low grade stress because their brain never fully settles. So, here's some examples of some boundaries that you can create: uh, a block of time where you don't check your notifications, a window of time that you call your digital detox, single task focus periods, intentional silence, taking mindful walks, or having a device free morning. Right? Even small changes can dramatically improve mental clarity. Another important practice is monotasking. The brain generally performs better focusing on one meaningful task at a time than constantly switching between multiple forms of stimulation. Multitasking often creates the illusion of productivity while increasing cognitive fatigue. And honestly, mindfulness plays a huge role here too. Mindfulness helps train attention intentionally instead of allowing it to be pulled automatically towards every distraction. Sometimes mindfulness is simply noticing when your attention drifts, catching yourself scrolling unconsciously, or becoming aware that your nervous system feels overloaded. That awareness creates a choice. And one of the most powerful mindset shifts that we can develop is realizing what I repeatedly give my attention to becomes part of my psychological environment, which means protecting your attention is also protecting your mental and emotional health. Now, I developed something to help you with this process, and it's called the Attention Reset Challenge, because many people don't need more information. They need intentional practices that help them to reduce overstimulation, to rebuild focus, to regulate the nervous system, and to reclaim their mental clarity. So, the Attention Reset Challenge is designed to help people identify attention leaks, digital overwhelm, emotional overstimulation, and the habits quietly fragmenting their focus and peace of mind. So, if you've been struggling to stay focused on the things that matter most to you, download the workbook using the link in the show notes. It is an incredibly valuable resource for modern life. At the end of the day, attention is more than focus. Attention is direction, because where your attention goes, your emotional energy follows. Your attention shapes your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, your relationships, and your experience of life itself. And if you don't intentionally direct your attention, something else will. And look, that's the reality of the modern world. Now, this does not mean eliminating technology or living disconnected from society. It means becoming more conscious about what you consume, what consumes you, and what kind of mental environment you're repeatedly creating. Because ultimately, attention influences identity. What you repeatedly focus on becomes psychologically reinforced. And honestly, many people spend years unconsciously training their minds towards distraction, stress, comparison, outrage, and overstimulation without realizing they can also intentionally train their attention towards presence, gratitude, focus, creativity, connection, and emotional clarity. Awareness creates choice, and choice creates intentional living. Modern life is constantly competing for your attention, and your attention is one of the most valuable resources that you possess, because whatever repeatedly captures your attention eventually begins shaping your mindset, your emotional state, your nervous system, and your experience of reality. So this week, I want you to reflect on one simple question. What has been training my attention lately? And perhaps even more importantly, is that helping me become the person I want to become? Now, that awareness alone can begin changing your relationship with focus, distraction, and presence. All right, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with someone who may need to hear it. As always, please subscribe, follow, and leave a review because it really helps us continue reaching more people with these conversations. So until next time, remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Thanks for tuning in. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice or treatment. While the content of this podcast is based on research and personal experience, everyone's situation is unique, and the advice given may not be applicable to all. Always consult a qualified professional before making significant changes in your life. The Personal Mastery and Growth podcast is recorded at the So Good Media Studios, located in the Candy Factory, a co-working space in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.